Welcome, 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 everyone, to Awakenings Moments to Inspire. My name is Angela, or Angel with an A, and I have a beautiful, beautiful guest today, Sarah Hazel Evans, and she is with me through the whole process. I said, Sarah, just come on with me at the beginning. You don't need to be, I'll introduce you still properly. Don't you worry, girl. But I do have co-created enough of the last couple of months with me that I think you should come on and just co-create right from the start here. So welcome, Sarah. Welcome, everyone at Oneness Talk Radio. We are broadcasting at Oneness Talk Radio YouTube, Oneness Talk Radio Facebook, and onenesstalkradio.com. So everybody, welcome, welcome. I'd also like to let you know that we have chat in all of those areas. And this is how we co-create the hour with you. So if you have anything that you want to share amongst yourselves, share with me, or share with the show in general, or Sarah as well, now that Sarah's here, please put it in the chat. Let's interact and co-create this beautiful hour together. And I have so much lion energy in my house that it has decided that it wants to pitch a fit right at this exact second. So my sincerest apologies, everybody. But lion energy sometimes just needs to be heard. Stop it. So I hope everyone is having an absolutely fabulous, beautiful morning on this January 19th, 2023. Woohoo! We are here. And I couldn't believe it. I looked over at my mother yesterday and I said to her, "Oh my goodness, it's already the 18th of January in 2023." So I thought 2022 flew by. I still think I'm in 2022 half the time. At least my brain does. My body knows it's in 2023, but my brain sometimes it has to play that catch up, right? So I've just been feeling into the energies of the last couple of days, and I can't wait to get into the ascended numerology for that. But right now, let's close our eyes and we'll do the three deep, beautiful Ave Saw breaths so that we can all be here and centered. Remember, we think hail, Ave on the inhale through your nose, and exhale with that saw, that release to the energy. So here we go. We're going to do it 3 times. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And here we go. Ave. Sa. Ave. Sa. Ave. Sa. If there is anything that gets injected into the energy of my household, it is humor all around. So thank you, everyone, for that. Oh, my goodness. Sarah, we are coming into a month of experience. What's your experience been like so far?
Okay. Get any broader right there with that question? Oh my goodness. The experience has been all over the place. But I think that's one of the true gifts is once you really learn to let go and just to be in the beingness of being alive and full appreciation of the life that is yours.
Mhm.
You appreciate it all, that sea of neutrality, and you recognize that it's just this wonderful dance. So the experience is bliss, and it's also chaos, and it's also it's just this thing. And yeah, I'll keep you on your left brain side of stuff, but there's just so much reflection. So much reflection.
Yeah, I've been feeling into a lot of that energies too. But yes, you're right about left brain stuff. We should probably take care of that first before we dive too deep and our right brains take over a little too much. So our beautiful left brain stuff, I just wanted to let everybody know that I will be holding, and I think Sarah will be in attendance as well, our new moon ceremony circle on the 21st. It'll be at 7 o'clock Eastern Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to be on the invite list, it's a Zoom link, so you'll have to register. Just email me at waterloveandlight@gmail.com, and you can get on the email list, and I'll send you the link. So that's again 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and it's Saturday the 21st, and it'll be the very first full alchemical transformational new moon of the year. So I can't wait to dive deep. I'm going to recommend everybody bring a paper and a pencil because we're going to do some sentence stems, and we're going to dive deep into the creation of what we envision and want to manifest for 2023. So I hope to see you there for sure.
That will be
Also, I am championing a global Minga group and yoga of self-ascension for those of us who are within the community. One of our beautiful community members, Gary, and his wife, Lynn, have come up with an amazing project that we can all take part in. And I think we should all get on board with it for sure. If you have any poetry or stories or of miracles, sharings that you want to give to the community, things that will help uplift and inspire others on their own journey, poetry, prose, art. We're trying to collaborate and put together a book of inspiration, very similar to the Chicken Soup for the Soul books, but within the container of the Yoga of Self-Ascension and Global Minga. And then once that we compile all of the stories and all the sharings and all the miracles, I can't wait to feel the energy of all that in my hands. I can feel it now, actually. Um, we're going to compile it into a book, and then we're going to put it out to the world and offer it as a fundraiser for Global Minga, because there's so many beautiful projects that we are working on there, and trying to bring peace, love, and joy around the world to so many communities in South America, and we're beginning to expand. So I want everybody to rejoice in Global Minga for sure. If you're interested, we do have a Facebook group page. It's Global Minga Ascension Renaissance. So head over there, and it's a wonderful community. But yeah, so if you are interested in taking part in compiling the book together with us, waterloveandlight@gmail.com. Drop me a line. I'd love to hear from you. And I think that's about all the beautiful left brain things that I have in store for today. And do you have anything that I might be forgetting, Sarah?
well, the ascended numerology.
Yeah, oh yes. Well, I'm going there for sure. But I'm just thinking I want to make sure no, I'm pretty sure I got all the left brain things for January finished up. So let's dive into the ascended numerology. It's funny, we were talking before about the experience, what your experience has been, and it's been a little bit here and there, well, all over the map, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And as has mine. And it's funny because it is a month of experience. So that calls in, but what really calls in is also across the perfect balance. The month of January, this month, 2023, is a 4. So it's a cross of perfect balance. And I find if you can sit within the cross of perfect balance within yourself, you can navigate those experiences with a little bit more clarity and a little bit more awareness, so that you don't have to dive into the darker parts of it all. You can rise above and lift, and you can see the gifts in not going down and going up too, which is amazing.
Well, and the beautiful thing to remember about the cross of perfect balance is, you do have that center point.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always that center point. So, you might feel the unbalancedness, but the real call is, where is that center point?
Yeah. The center point doesn't move so much. It's the outer flow, the outer wings that move. And if you can stay in that center of your river or of your flow, then you'll be able to ride the wibbly wobblies of January for sure. The day itself, and I've been really calling in this energy this morning, especially with regards to our topic for today, which is connection. But I love the fact today's numerology, ascended numerology, is a 10, which is the creative flow, the creation energy. And I felt into the energy this morning, and this is what I wrote. So the number 10 is the power of all activity and manifest energy. Mud pies, finger painting, pulling a needle through cloth, squashing grapes between your toes. 10 fingers and 10 toes, we were all given to create here, now, in this physical form. Take the clay of your life and release the knowing of your mind and create with all your infinite potential. It is an experience month. Experience the infinite creativity that you are at your center. Cross of perfect balance. Let go of fear, doubt, the fear and doubt of your ego mind, and embrace your crystalline clarity of your infinite relative, relative? Your infinite creative, if I can spell, your infinite creative ability, and manifest your dreams. So embrace your crystalline clarity and then go out and create everybody. Manifest those dreams. Hold that manifestation in your mind and let go. Remember to let go of how it comes about, because sometimes when we try and map or plan how that manifestation is going about, we're actually slowing it down. So it's about trust and release of that, and then just holding that trust in your center. Again, the trust and love are the center of the cross of perfect balance. So if you can hold on to both of those things, then you can really weather the storms and weather the eddies along the shorelines of your flow, and any rocks that you might see. You can kind of just bounce off them and laugh and go, okay, that was fun. It's those people who like going whitewater rafting and find it fun, where others would find it terrifying. That's the kind of mind frame you have to get in about your life, is wake up and in the morning and open your eyes and say, okay, what does today have in store for me? And then go out and create it. And that's the flow of the energy of today. Do you have anything calling to you, Sarah?
Oh, so much. I mean, when you were reading about the 10 and what you wrote down, I had to smile because it feeds in perfectly to the topic of, that inspiring connection, right? The connections that inspire us. And I was thinking about how, you and Pauline and myself have began doing morning rampages together.
Yeah.
And this morning,
Explain
everything
what a
that you
rampage
said,
is to the audience, Sarah, just so they know.
I will. Yep. So, rampage is where you consciously take a creative approach to controlling your mood and shifting through it. So, for example, what Angela and Pauline and I have been doing is something that I have experienced with getting together in a group of people, where you really just get on and hold a container and you feel into the moment. What is the highest feeling that you can find for yourself, and starting out the day is what we've been doing. And you take 17 seconds to feel into that best feeling place that you can feel into, with the intent of moving that up through the emotional scale to find the relief or to uplift it into, because you can't just jump from, frustration to bliss. You have to move up, for example. So it's with that idea in store. So you either hold it and heighten it, or you break through and lift it, depending on what you've got going on when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
And so you take that 17 seconds, you find that most neutral or most uplifting feeling that you can dive into. You hold that for 17 seconds of silence, and then we verbally find the words that are at that moment and then lift into, again, a better state. So you just find that ease and then you carry it through your words, through, it's whatever moves you. And I
Mhm.
don't know if there's a better way of explaining the rampage in itself, but where you verbally speak it and allow that shift to happen,
Mhm.
and it's pretty blissful.
Yeah. I like to think of it almost like a verbal celebration of you, YOU capital,
Yeah.
but also a celebration of the connection between the little you and the big you, and it's just a glorious feeling. Um, Again, leads back to connection because you're connecting with your body, with your in that 17 seconds, you're calming your body and your mind, you're feeling into that energy and you're connecting into that energy, and then it just flows out of you. So, I am love, I am creation, I am full of light, and I can go out into the world and create that which I am, and you can just keep going on and on. And sometimes we we do get going, and then we realize we're only supposed to go for a couple minutes, and then we open our eyes, and it's like 5 minutes has gone by, and we're like, "Woo!" Um, Another thing I think I've cherished too, just so we've been getting up, ladies and gentlemen, every morning. Well, some earlier than others, because for me, it's only 10 o'clock. For Sarah, it's a little earlier than that, and then for Pauline, it's even earlier, so but she's been enjoying it too because we find that carries our day forward, like, our energy goes out from us at that point for the day, and then it's just riding the wave of it all throughout the rest of the day, and it really does help keep you in that centered state. So if you have groups of friends or people that you know that might be interested in doing something like this, just getting together every morning and it's literally 15 minutes. Well, it can literally be 15 minutes if you stop with the chatting and the, "How was your day?" stuff, but literally, you can just get on and do a, quick, 17 seconds. Someone starts the timer for the 17 seconds, and then you each go, and it can just be a simple 15 minutes every morning, and I think too, I love the connection of just again on the topic, it's the I wrote this down while you were speaking, is feeling the energy of the other person's rampage. So you are feeling into the energy of that other person. So it just on and you're listening to their own um, releases and their own stories as they rampage. And so it begins to make that connection with you, both energetically, physically, mentally, emotionally, because you are in their space, they are in your space. And then you just are literally creating this bubble of juicy, creative, flowing energy all around. And then at the end of it all, again, you just release it out into your day and say, all right, day, what do you have in store for me? And it's just beautiful. I love that.
Well, and and I think we've seen a little bit because we've only been doing it for a short period thus
Yeah,
far. And I think even in the short time period that we've been doing it, you can tell that there are times when you wake up in the morning and one of us might not really feel up to speed with the day yet. There
yeah,
might be something, but again, it goes back to the accountability. So kind of like what we were trying to test in that first challenge that happened on
yep,
Global Minga. There's that accountability. So, and I don't know if you've experienced it yet, but when you know that you're connecting with other people in the morning, you wake up and there will be days where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can even do this today. But
yeah,
you know that you're connecting and you have to really ask yourself, can I show up?
yeah,
How am I going to show up? And some days you can wake up and you can't wait to get on that call. And then other days it's like, can I just go last? Can I be the last one to rampage today, please? But as you listen to other people, you can feel like, okay, now I'm ready. And you can find that most neutral place to start. And it's pretty incredible that then too you can see how the synchronicities will play throughout the day.
Yeah.
And how you said you start to see, and it does, you do create a container in doing it. And there is, you'll notice too, the shift that ends up happening more tangibly. I mean,
Mm,
you'll feel it. You'll actually get thirsty for it sometimes. But you also, and this is kind of, I was thinking about this topic that we were going to bring up today. It's a pretty broad conversation because
it
we were
is.
talking about the other night about how there's that inspiring connection that you can have with other people,
Mhm.
how you get that inspiration through the connection of others. But there's also the inspiration and the connection with yourself. And then there's also in the world around you, that which is, the connection to the divine, the connection to nature, the connection to, and doing rampages like what we're talking about, you find that all of that opens up. And you really do learn to work that muscle of being aware.
Yeah. Yeah. I would Well, we were doing our rampage this morning. Um, I went first, everyone, this time. And it was funny when it came for yours and Pauline's, um, I had automatically opened I could literally feel it. It's like the rust creaking off the door over my heart, and I was opening up to do mine, but then as soon as yours and Pauline started, I was like, "Oh, it's just automatic. You need to protect yourself. You need" it's just an automatic
Yeah.
reflex, folks, and let that go. Just be with it and say, "Oh, I see what you were doing there. No, 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 we don't have to do that. Remember? Remember, we cannot do that." So I was literally feeling it do this, and then all of a sudden I went, "No, no, no, we're opening, remember? We're opening." And rather than it going, I was like, "Oh, yeah, one." I was open to it. I think the connection calling into your body, see your connections even on the 3D level of interacting with other people and what that can do to you as a person, body, mind, and spirit, and see where it is, and lovingly, um talk to yourself, to your body, to your mind. You don't have to do these reflexive things anymore, and you can open yourself up to the connections that are all around you, body, mind, and spirit, because they're just out there wanting those strings to be grabbed. That's what I'm starting to see things almost like life as, is like a maypole with all these beautiful ribbons that are just fluttering out there, waiting to be grabbed by a childlike hand and get danced around the maypole to create this beautiful design. So everyone grab some ribbons and let's dance.
Well, and you asked me about my experience for the month, and it's been really interesting because just in the last couple days, I have really felt into, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's something that's out there that can be worried about, concerned about. And I've caught myself, unlike ever before, where I'll be like, really, what is that? I mean, like, what am I concerned about here?
Mhm.
It is simply a story. It's simply, I mean, it's just, I'm seeing more than ever that, what is real
Mhm.
and why do I make that real? Why does that have my attention? Why am I connected to that?
Yeah. Yeah. Once you get I think it goes back to even just the cross of perfect balance. Let's loop her back in. Is once you find that pivot point, that center point of who you are, you can you find that the connections that you thought were so narrow, that you thought were so limited, connections, options, whatever you want to call, I like just to call them connections, because there's less hang around that, I think. But you have all of these connections that suddenly open up to you. The clarity opens up for you when you can go in and reconnect with yourself and love yourself, that first connection to the divine inner being of who you are, because that's, again, the only being that you have to deal with 24/7, 365 days of the year for your entire life is you. So love you, love who you are, connect with you. And the moment you connect with you, all the rest of the connections open up and you can see which connections you want to release, because with every connection, sometimes there needs to be a release of something. So even with a connection of thought or perception, it's like, oh, yeah. Okay, I'm making that connection now, but I need to release this one because it no longer
Yeah.
serves. And just to let it go with love and appreciation, just release it and say, "Thank you for all of the gifts that you've brought me. I don't need to hang on to that pain or frustration or memory of whatever it is. I can focus on the connections that it made, the gifts that it made, as opposed to, um, in diving into the shades that are less than, I guess would be the way I would put it. So, anyway, does that bring forward anything for you?
I yeah, it brings forward a lot. I'll just say a lot. I could go so many different directions with this. But I'm thinking of, the powerful question that I think that many of us are used to. What in me invited this to be? But, I'm sitting there, I'm really feeling into, what am I connected to at this moment?
Mhm,
So like, how powerful is that at any time, especially when are feeling, again, drawn to an emotion. There's an underlying emotion that's you're navigating by that, you're just kind of like, all of a sudden you realize, why am I frowning like I am? Like, what is that about? I mean, how often do we really connect with what we're feeling or
yeah,
what we're projecting and if and feeling? And emotions have been really strong in my thought process and reflection lately, because there was a time when I really was intrigued by just emotions and why we have emotions. What's the purpose of having emotions? What are they for? Because so often we're just an autopilot. I'm feeling this, whatever. Like, it's just, we take it for granted. Like, oh, okay. But no, like, they have this amazing purpose for our lives. Like, why do we have those? And that connection with our emotions? But again, we just take it for granted. you
mhm,
know I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling whatever. Okay, but what are you connected to in that moment that's causing you to feel this way, that's causing you to just be on autopilot with frustration? And it's like, what is going on? Because a lot of times that's not really a true connection.
yeah,
It's not really one that we have the capability to be creating in.
mhm, yeah,
And that's all just like, okay, let me take charge at this moment. you know where am I, how am I more consciously being with my emotions in the connection of this? I don't know if that makes sense, um but the emotion component of things, it's like, there's no right or wrong to it. They're guides for us.
yep, yep,
They're guides for us.
yep.
And I love how in any moment I can feel five different ways, but there is the one true way
Yeah,
that really is my like, okay, I know if I'm feeling joy, like if that seed of joy, I know that I am in my truth.
yeah, yep, yep,
For
yep,
me, that's like, where's my joy? And so if any moment I'm like, what am I truly connected to at this moment? And I can spin it to, okay, where's the joy in this? Then I know I'm on the right course.
yep, yep. The same goes with, feelings of less than too, is, when you were speaking to you about, not that I want less than thoughts, but what I'm trying to do is give tools to people who are maybe wanting to follow their connection, so their emotion. So if they have an emotional trigger, let's say, um, if you think about it, most of our emotional triggers are reactions to when we were children, when we
Yeah.
didn't have the emotional training that we develop over as an adult. So if you can, again, I always say, make that connection with that younger child who may have experienced it. Call forward that image inside you and have that beautiful conversation with that being. Connect with that younger person and let them know that everything actually turns out okay because we're still here and we're trucking right along and moving forward. So just have that conversation with your younger selves and let them know that, you know, we've learned where these all come from, and we actually don't have to respond that way. We can respond a different way.
Yeah.
And that's where I love visualization and those tools in to reconnect with yourself. And then once you, like I said before, when you reconnect with yourself, you can then take it out into the world and into your own relationships. And reconnecting with yourself is either going to strengthen the connections that you have out there. You're going to see those connections with greater clarity and greater understanding. So, where you might have been less understanding or less compassionate in a situation or more judgmental in a situation, you realize, oh no, we all put our pants on the same way. We all put our boots on the same way. We're all human beings. I'm going to cut some slack. And you can also then discern the connections that maybe aren't so healthy and that you need to let go, and that there just is, they need to have their path and you need to have yours for now. And you can openly and willingly release that without any guilt or shame on your part. And you can do it with loving kindness and forgiveness, um, without putting more of that baggage onto yourself that numb those connections out and make us forget. And we, yeah, like you said, we're always just reacting, we're always just responding. So once we can get a hold of all of that, we don't need to react to even the relationship family in our lives around us. We can navigate things with a little bit more clarity in the 3D world, I find, with
So
love
you're
and
saying
trust.
so so you're saying that we get to see our proclivities a little bit better.
Inside joke, ladies and gentlemen. Sarah learned a new word, and she thought she was gonna. She's like, I'm gonna try and slip that in today. I'm going to try and
I
slip
did
that.
it. Yes.
And she did it. And I said it would be even more hilarious if you were able to air quote it, because our other friend Pauline loves to do air quotes. So here's to you, Pauline.
Here's to you, Bobby. Um, but and I'm gonna add something to you because you're absolutely right with the child and the being able to see other people and everything. But the other thing, that connecting to your inner child, because we do have that part of our childhood that taps us into that growing up and starting to individualize and compare, which comparison is the true thief of joy, right? That's a quote from my
Yeah.
dad, which I
Yeah.
think is a great quote. Dad, shout out to my dad. But but the other thing, though, is that there is an innocence within your inner child, with your childhood, that is carefree, that is unabashed. You are who you are. You know who you are. I mean, that, if you really feel strongly into that component of love that is you as a child, or joy, or curiosity, or whatever it is, whatever it is, if you, and that was one of the things that in NIM that really, that course brought in was, I am joy as a child. So when I sit there and I connect with myself as a child, I'm going to not care what I look like when I am in joy. I'm not going to care about just being who I am. If I'm smiling or I'm loving everything on Facebook or whatever, the thing is that I know that that is who I am in that connection to the child
Yeah.
part of them. So I think that's another beautiful part about connecting with yourself in, that child state of you. And
Dance
it
like
keeps
everyone watching. Dance
yeah,
like everyone's watching
yeah.
because who cares?
Who cares? Who cares? And I know that that part of it's age too. When you get to be a certain age, you start to be like, whatever, whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever. So
True,
yeah.
true. I will admit it. You would say that to a 25-year-old and they'd be like, "What?" But once you get to a certain age, you do. You kind of just go, "There really is."
Yeah.
We all put our pants on the same way, and we all you just kinda get to that idea and of who you are, I think, and your
Yeah.
security in who you are. And again, that just comes with connection with yourself, but that can also come with age. And I think age just allows you the time to make that connection with yourself, to let go of that
Yeah.
ego stuff that you think is so important, that you've carried now through life for however many years. So we got some lovely people here. Denise says, Namaste, beautiful beings. Thank you for this conversation. I'm loving it. And Adrienne said, beautiful love, girlfriend. Beautiful, beautiful, love it. So thank you, Adrienne. Thank you, Denise, so much.
Look,
Yeah. Sorry.
I want to give a shout out to our dear friend B, because she had something really great on that Global Minga Facebook page about journaling. And it was right after, again, we'd start talking about getting together for this show. And she had put a post on there about, people curious of what their thoughts were about journaling, ideas of sentence stems and whatnot. Um, but it made me think about this with connection. And one of the things that I have found really beautiful about journaling for me, and I don't do it as much as I should, and I'm like B, where it's like I feel more called to doing it,
Yeah.
but where intuitively I journal, where I actually had a experience this summer where I was walking in my yard and I had made a couple laughs. I was talking on the phone to my son, and I have two trees that they sit side by, they sit like this, and I call them my twins
Mhm.
because one has male energy, one has female energy, and they're the same type of tree, whatever. And there was a pencil that looked like it had been, I mean, I walked the same place, like I said, this was like the second or third time around the yard, and there was a pencil in the dirt that had been out there for some time. It was weathered. It was one that had been sharpened, like a carpenter
Oh,
sharpened
okay.
on.
Yeah.
It had a perfect point on it, but it had been beat up by the lawnmower and whatnot. So I'm not sure how long this thing was out there. But I sat there and I thought, okay, all right, I like, I just felt like this is like a gift, a sign from the twins, right? So I went and got a pen and paper and I sat down underneath the tree and I allowed myself to just sit there for a moment and trust the first thing that came up that I knew wasn't coming from my little mind, but it was coming from deep within me. It was my soul speaking to me. It was the inspiration of the trees. And I just started writing, and I didn't allow my mind to think. I just allowed the words to come through.
Mm.
And that is one way of inspiration through connection that is actually, to me, I feel it is a wonderful way to work a muscle, just like rampaging, because you're allowing that conversation to happen at a level that so often we shut off.
Yep.
And to me, it is a beautiful way to feel into a level of inspiration that is very intuitive.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I think probably two of the most important connections we haven't really brought through yet is the connection, the allness and then allness into oneness is that realizing that we are connected to all, everything, the universe, the trees, the grass, and that we are co-creating with it. So that's where I was saying today, go out and create with your fingers and your toes that way, but you can also create energetically by doing just what Sarah was saying, connecting with the allness. In her case, it was her beautiful twin trees, and you're connecting there with them, and what is it that the universe through them is trying to say to you, and what you can hear. And then you can, if once you've got that center point and that love of unconditional love in your heart, you kind of get this level of detachment where you can lift up and you can be one. And I like to, when I think of it, and I look down on Gaia, I kind of see it as a big sandbox of everyone having so much fun and enjoying what they are doing, even regardless of shade, ladies and gentlemen, regardless of shade, because it's all just a sandbox. It's all just kids playing out there. It seems like so much more, but when you lift to a certain level, you see that everything fits together and makes sense. You're learning through what you don't want, exactly what you do want. So you're learning by experiencing war and famine and hunger, you're learning that we don't need to do that anymore, that we can do this. We can come together in union and work things out and connect, connect on that level, and that you can, so at a oneness level, when you're looking at this glorious sandbox, all I see is a series of children that are just trying to figure out what it is they're doing down here. And I have that sense of loving detachment where I can say, okay, you're here, you're serving your purpose, and you're here and you're serving this your purpose, and it is all amazing and all well. And I just love that. It takes the fear and the anger and the frustration out of it all, because you can see that regardless if this person is, you think, is doing harm, on the higher level, we are just spiritual beings here experiencing this playground of interaction and creativity, and we're here to create. And so, regardless of shade, look at what you're creating. Hold what you're creating. Is it what you want to create? And then the joy of it is if it is, you can keep going. And if it isn't, you can change it. And I love that about being at that oneness level of being and connected to it and being able to see through it. It's a little harder to do when you're in the thick of the soup, and that's where your cross of perfect balance comes in handy, because you can swing with it and you can pull yourself out of the white waters and back into the center of the river. So that's
Look
what.
at you going into a mini rampage right there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love how, you ended with it, but the whole time you were going, I'm like, you are tapping totally into, again, full circle, the cross of perfect balance. When you go into the oneness and you go into the allness and you see things in that sea of neutrality,
Yeah.
you are there. You're in the cross. All is well. All is well.
I love the beauty of connecting your own dots as well. Because
Yeah.
when you realize truly that no one has had the experience, no one, you are unique, totally unique. No one has had your experiences in life. Even up to a certain age, you would think your brothers and sisters had the same or similar experiences. No, they had a completely different childhood than yours, completely different experience. So your unique gifts that you learned coming up through all of that sets you up for a greater understanding of who you are and where you're going in life. If you're willing to connect with that, let go of the ribbons that you no longer need, grab the ribbons that you want, and then stick your maypole in the ground and just get down. dancing.
Yeah.
Because the energy of the masculine and the feminine, the maypole and the dance all together. That's what you need
Yeah.
to get through your life with peace, love, and joy. And but it starts right here, right in this center.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have about 14 minutes left, maybe 13 minutes left. Time tends to fly when we get into flow around here. I know um, it's so sad. Some days I'm struggling to find the words and getting through the hour, and then there's other days where things just flow and you wished it was 2 hours and 3 hours because there's so much in this topic like we were beginning. We kinda left it very fluid. That's why we chose connection, so that we could leave it very fluid to see what came up through us, what we were going to gift and co-create for you guys today. That's why I think we chose a more open topic so that we could just really dive deep into all of the connections that we have in ourselves and amongst the world. I think connection that we don't talk about too is not the physical connection of something, it's the resonance. So when something resonates with you, if you are on your journey and you are finding something on the internet or YouTube and it sings to you, it resonates with you, it calls to you, that's a connection. That's the universe saying, ding, 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 ding. Synchronicities, another connection, a way the universe to say, you are connected. Pay attention. We are here. We see you. We've got you. Um,
Right.
sometimes they're telling you a little bit more, but a lot of times I like to think of my synchronicities more as the breadcrumbs to show that I'm still on my path, that I've still got this. I'm not in the weeds. We're okay. It's all good, regardless of what. And it's just another trusting tool, I would think. I would say was synchronicities are a tool of trust. Um, yeah.
It's also, the connection, like what are you more connected with um, in your life? Is it conscious or subconscious?
Mhm.
Because we do have a connection that way. And when we're more connected to our subconscious, we're not paying attention to those things, those synchronicities, and what the universe is trying to show us, how we're resonating, those subtle energies.
Yeah.
And then also, what we're connected to in a day. Um, are we carrying it forward when we don't need to carry it forward? Because there's that too. And I remember years ago hearing it be said that we tend to carry things over, um, into a new day or into a new year, or
Life.
just we hold on to our whole life, that we'll tend to hold the negatives more than we hold the positive. Are you connecting to the positives in your life?
Yeah.
Where are those, and how are you bringing those through into a new day? How are you bringing those through into a new year? Maybe it's, the calendar year. Maybe it's a birth year. I mean, how are you carrying those forward into your life? How are you connecting into those things?
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Those are the fuel of who you are rather than the autopilot that you've gotten yourself on. And when you can reconnect with those things and gratitude, like connecting with gratitude,
Yeah.
that's, I think, one of the, no matter how depressed I got throughout my journey and in more particularly in the beginning of my journey and no matter how frustrated, all those emotions that just kind of bubble forward, if I could find that one spark of that one thing that I could be thankful for in my life, whether it is, your family around you, the support that you have, the clothes on your back, the food on your table, food in your fridge, a roof over your head, these are all things that we can be thankful for, all of us that have these things. And even if you live in your car or you be thankful that you have that. Be
Yeah.
thankful for, the friends that help you, that assist you, that are around you. find there's a tree that you get to look at every day where most people are staring at a concrete wall, that you get to
Yeah.
be up with the sun and go down with it. Some people midnight at night trying to get their work done, but you have the ability to say,
Well,
"No, I'm going to
and
sleep."
have you and I think I kind of moved into the beginning of this year thinking about how I'm connected to words.
Yeah.
There are things that and I noticed it and you brought it up as I'm looking outside and it's gray and it's snowing. Um, it's so common if you ask somebody how they're doing.
Mhm.
How's your day going? Working with the public. How's your day going? I could put money down that they were either going to bring up how the weather is either too hot,
Mhm.
it's too it's just so sunny out there that everything's drying up out there, or it's raining or whatever.
Yep.
You never heard people just saying, oh, you know what, it's a beautiful day, I love the cloudy weather because I feel like I can just stay home and be cozy, kind of a thing. We're connected to our words in a way, and it might even be repetitive words that we continually say. And it's like, how are we connected? And that connection can work. I know we're talking about inspiring, the inspiration through connection.
Mhm.
But it's paying attention to how are you inspired? How are you inspired? Are you inspired positively? Are you inspired negatively and not even being aware of it?
Yeah.
You know, find the positive inspirations in your connections.
Yeah.
Find how you're also supporting yourself,
Mhm.
you know, um, because
Our
I think,
practices Oh, sorry. Keep going.
yeah, no, I'm in my head, I'm thinking, like I hadn't gone there, when we were, I've been sitting with this with connection and inspiration. It's like, inspiration doesn't automatically mean that that you're doing it in a positive way.
Oh, yep. Yep.
So,
Definitely.
that responsibility.
Yes. Yes. It's taking the responsibility for yourself. And, I think that leads back to, when you're looking at your relationships with other people, you can say, "Okay, I still love this person maybe, but I'm not necessarily going to be immensely loyal to that person or whatever. I'm going to wait over here. And then if we sync back together in the future, so be it. If not, I love you, but I'm not going to wrap my
Yeah.
daily life around you. I'm going to choose to wrap it around this for now because I'm championing this. This champions me, and it fills me with light and love. So, welcome, Pauline. Don't worry, you can catch the recording. Pauline said, "Oops, late."
Her her ears must have been burning.
Oh, the other Pauline. This is another Pauline, not
Oh,
our Pauline.
hi, Polly.
We've got so many Paulines. We got some Paulines in the community, Paulinas. So we sometimes we mix all of you guys up, but it's amazing that you're here with us all today. So thank you, Denise and Adrian and Pauline and everyone else who's out there listening. The day is wrapping up so fast and so rapidly. I'm trying to feel into anything else that I might be called to talk about here. Um, I think it just all goes back into the numbers, today, 4, 10, and the experience month. This energy of today is really leading us forward into and supporting us into what it is that we want to create, what it is that we want to experience out of those creations. And the fact that we're in that cross of perfect balance energy, um, and if you can if you can pull it into yourself and hold on to it, you can see all of
Mm.
these beautiful ribbons and things floating out in the air for you to grab, and you can stay in in the center of your stream as much as possible. And even if you do get off into the rocks a little bit or into the weeds, you can rejoice in the gifts that it's going to bring because you are connected to who you are. You are connected to the tribe that you have around you, that has developed around you. You are connected to the world at large, to Gaia at large, to the universe at large, and the crystal and divine light inside of you, that spark that's inside of you. So I just want to say to everybody, have a beautiful week. This is going to be an interesting next couple of weeks. February is coming up. I can't believe that's less than 2 weeks away. We're already almost into the second month of 2023. And it's going to, I'm sure, going to be as much of a storm. See the oneness, reclaim your mastery, as it has been for the last 2 weeks. Well, 19 days. So
Yeah.
everyone, do you have anything do you wanna share, Sarah?
I going into the 4, going into the 10 energy, you know, inspiring connections really is the fuel for creativity.
Yeah.
And I think it's beautiful that we're talking about this today and how we are all amazing, amazing co creative individuals working collectively together for the oneness and all. And I love that we've come together on this, and I think it's beautiful.
Well, I'm just wanna say thank you to you and, to the other 2 beautiful people that I have connected with over the last couple of months, Natasha and Pauline. They have both been, amazing inspirations for me. They have helped I don't know about you, Sarah, but they have helped me see my mirrors so much more clearly, and champion and holding the space for you and for each other to have those moments where we have to maybe pull back, go deep, and then step forward, back out again. And when you have that tribe around you that can support you, then energetic, physical, but also the joyful smiles and camaraderie that you get to look at every day. I would recommend finding people that you can do rampages with, or even just come together on a weekly basis where you can just start flabbing the jab and talking back and forth and seeing what you can co-create, what creativity you can develop just with a group of friends coming together, in inspiration and, love. So go give it a try because it's a lot of fun, I promise.
And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and ask me more info. I did it for 4 years with 2 people that I had never met. We just came together. We didn't really learn about each other personally too deep. It was just all about rampaging, and we did it 6 days a week, 4 years, and it was incredible, incredible experience. So I'm really so excited that I get to do this with Angela and Pauline and Natasha. She's yeah. This is an
It's
amazing group of people. Amazing group of people.
Yes, my sisters for life and beyond. I'm just so joyous that I was able to meet you and this beautiful community. I met and connected with so many souls from this community. It truly is a community of love and light. So until next week,
It
everybody,
really
I
is.
wish you more love and light and water. Don't forget to drink your water. And we will see you next Thursday with another beautiful guest who's coming on. I can't wait for you to meet her. And it's going to be a surprise until you see the thumbnails. So keep an eye out for that. And we'll talk to you soon. Namaste,
Love
everybody.
everyone.